Come in.
Hi, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott Kirkan with Seminole Insurance. How are you doing?
Brother, good to see you
Good
again.
to see you again. Do you mind if I take a seat?
Absolutely. Come on.
And do you mind if I use a little bit of your desk space here?
No, come on. That's what it's here for.
Oh, yeah. No worries. Just a couple quick housekeeping things. Do you mind if I get one of your cards, like if you don't mind, just so we have contact information? If anything else changes, no worries.
Yeah. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So how are you doing? Pretty good. I mean, last time we spoke, we talked a lot. It sounds like business is going great over at Table 22.
Yeah. No, things are good. I can't be any happier. Certainly always looking for new innovations and ideas and marketing strategies, but that's why I like the restaurant business.
Oh, no,
things are good.
For sure. And I mean, I can completely level with you on that. My parents also own a business or a restaurant, and they really just, it's tough when you're a small business owner, especially in the restaurant industry, when you're going through everything like that. Just make sure your business is running because the restaurant business is tough. And I mean, even as a kid, I was busting tables and working through, so I can level with you on a lot of things like that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
so you should have some first-hand knowledge.
Oh yeah, for sure. So just want to kind of set up today's meeting because when we had talked at the thing down at the Capitol, you hinted that there was a couple problems with the risk management process, maybe some things that you were a little bit unsure of. It's just some things you want to talk about as far as insurance stuff. So with today's meeting, trying to have a quick rundown of the agenda, run through want to understand your current operations, how it all works, what you're doing with your business to make sure everything's going well, and how that matches up with your current risk management process and everything like that. Also want to look into maybe some areas of opportunity that your current broker isn't really looking into or doesn't have you covered. Want to make sure we're, again, covering you in all areas and making sure we're, managing the risk. So then I'll tell you a little bit about Seminole Insurance, what we do, how we handle our risk claims, and especially in the restaurant industry, that's one of the things I have, personal experience with. I do write a couple of the restaurants, so I am aware of how the structure works and some things to look out for. So definitely important to look at. And then we'll talk about some of the next steps, maybe where we're going to go with it. So perfect. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds like a good plan.
Perfect. All right. So is it just you? You're just the owner? Is there anyone else maybe should be in the meeting or as part of the
my wife and I own the restaurant.
And what's her name?
Her name's Carol. And basically, she runs the front of the house. I run the back of the house and the financial aspect of it. We are married. We are business partners. But I will make the decision on the insurance.
Awesome. Perfect. So when you say you run the back half of that, is that more just like the management and the finance part, or like
in the kitchen?
And the kitchen. Okay, awesome. Just wanted to kind of confirm that as well. And you have a full staff of everyone as far as
I have 20 employees.
20 employees, awesome.
About 8 are full-time, and the other 12 are, as just like any small business, part-timers coming and going depending on need.
Perfect. So with your current insurance plan, what's kind of like your renewal date, your timeline? I mean, I don't know if we were to make any changes. What's it looking like?
June 1 is the renewal date.
Awesome.
I certainly, Scott, would like to put this to bed probably a couple weeks prior, so we're not running up right on the renewal date.
No, it's always good to have preparation.
Back up maybe 2 weeks of that and make a final decision.
Perfect. So you guys just kind of figuring out what you want to go with as far as some of the things you might not be covered in. What are some of your concerns?
Well, a couple concerns. First, I've inherited this business from my parents. Okay, so now I'm responsible. Well, our current broker is my dad's guy.
Oh, okay.
You've heard that.
My dad's guy. Oh yeah, we deal with that all the time.
I wanna be able to make sure that I understand what we're talking about and have my own guy, whether it's him or you or someone else. Okay, on that comfort level. Scott, I mean, let's be honest. You're kind of young.
Right.
You do have a few businesses under your belt, but certainly that's a concern as a business owner, making sure I have that comfort level that, I started in the restaurant business too when I was young. So I understand I had to overcome some things too. So help me understand, why I should do business with you and Seminole.
Awesome.
Insurance.
So just want to kind of clarify that. You're a little bit concerned as far as my background a little bit. Maybe not necessarily my specific background, but just my experience with handling restaurants and stuff.
Correct.
Awesome. So pretty much, I am young, don't really have the beard growing in, but one of the things we focus on at Seminole Insurance is, we provide our clients, and it's a team effort. You know, I might be the quarterback of the team. I'm someone who you're,
Okay.
you know, working with on the regular basis. You know, calling if you have any concerns. Really want to make sure that's one of the things we embody with our company, that, you know, we're client first. Really want to make sure that we're focused on you guys with anything. And then behind me is the rest of the team. You know, we have our service professionals, our business development directors, you know, the rest of our management account managers, just making sure that, you know, you're in compliance with certain things, running through, you know, any other questions you might have that might be beyond my knowledge, you know, if there's anything, changes in the government regulations, stuff like that, building codes. Really just want to make sure that we have someone who is providing you with the absolute best information possible, and we're in constant communication.
Okay. Well,
Does
that's
that kind of clarify a little bit?
yeah, it does, because that's a different concept than what we're currently used to.
Really?
We're
Okay.
currently used to just a one-man band.
Okay, so
yeah.
you had mentioned, so one-man band. What is he doing? When was the last time you talked to your agent?
You know, when's the last time I talked to him personally? Oh, it's been months.
Okay.
Because, as I said, it's my dad's guy.
Yeah.
And so I think overall he's taken us a little bit for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just feels like he's got the business,
mm-hmm.
as long as my dad's still his golfing buddy.
Oh yeah,
kind
personal
of thing.
relationship type thing. Yeah.
And my wife and I have talked, and that's just, you know, again, he may be the guy,
mm-hmm.
but we're looking at options.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things we run into the business. You know, I always love calling someone and they're like, "Oh yeah, our son's the broker." I'm like, "Well, is your son doing a good job?" You know, you want to make sure that, you know, they're providing the best products and services possible. You know, regardless of personal relationship.
Gotcha.
I mean, it is important to develop that, but
absolutely,
of course, I want to remain objective. So we talked a little bit about your current broker and where that's going. What do you look for in an insurance company? That's kind of something important. Obviously, you had mentioned that you really wanted to make sure that we're kind of in constant contact, someone who's like on your team and on your side.
Right.
I don't know. You want to elaborate a little bit on
Well, you know, and you talk about the company itself, the insurer, the people that are actually, you know, writing the policy. You're the agent. So my concern has been, and I've seen it firsthand with my dad, and I was involved in the business. We had a loss. We were told, no problem, Nick Sr., everything's good. Submit the loss. Company does their investigation. No coverage.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to make sure, Scott, whatever company we go with, you know, number one, we understand what we're insuring, and number two, there is a comfort level.
Oh yeah.
That they're going to be around to pay a loss.
Of course. So, yeah, that's definitely one thing that's very important, that you're understanding, you know, what you're covered under. And that's definitely, I feel like, one of the responsibilities of your brokerage is just really, you know, stay in constant communication with you. Can you elaborate a little bit? What was like that loss on? How much did that cost you?
It was a food spoilage loss.
Okay.
We were out of pocket about 10 grand.
Okay.
But could have been worse.
Right.
Certainly. But it was 10 grand. So
yeah,
we didn't anticipate that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just don't have 10 grand laying around.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. And so, you know, it makes you think. It makes you make sure, okay, well, why wouldn't it be covered? And are there things that I could have on the policy that would have covered it?
Right, exactly.
You know, so I'm thinking of those terms now.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm glad that you can recognize that and see, you know, one of the other things that we look at, so that was just a loss of 10 grand, but, you know, say some of that food had been served to, you know, other people, or, you know, then you have, you know, potential lawsuits, and that 10 grand could have been escalated anymore. I mean, would you even know like what your coverage for on that? Like, you know, these are important questions. Exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely, when we're looking and when we're going through your policy, we want to make sure that we are looking at your exposures, having an effective communication to make sure that we are covering everything, and, you know, so we don't repeat a loss like this.
So you want to be my guy?
I want to be your guy.
I got you.
Awesome. So I know when we talked a little bit, run me through maybe some of your current things you're working with, like the bar, liquor. I know I've talked to a couple of coworkers, and they heading down to your place to grab a drink after work.
You know, we're known for certainly the food. Chef takes a lot of pride. A lot of those are family recipes that have been handed down.
Right.
So food is good. Where I'm getting a little, I don't say rift with my wife, is I want to expand the wine.
Okay.
I want to bring in some higher end wines. I think we're established now. We have a nice clientele. I'd like to expand that clientele, and I think expectations are that we would carry some higher end wines.
Right.
So when they come, not only as a maybe a husband and wife or date night, but certainly bringing clients over, and that's what we're looking for. So my wife is not as on board as I am on that. I want to go, let's do it, baby. And she's like, do we really need to put those dollars out right now?
Right.
So that's one area that I think, and of course, that becomes more liability. That becomes certainly exposure to liquor.
With liability, yeah, exactly.
So there's things there that want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Well, yeah, I'm glad liquor liability, kind of you recognize the other liabilities you've taken on with that, and so definitely want to provide you with everything we can as far as in your policies. If you're looking to expand, and not necessarily just the wine, even other areas,
right.
Even if you're adding additions to the restaurant, something like that, we want to make sure that we're keeping you up to date and in constant contact to make sure that we're adapting to the way your business is as well.
Well, good.
Perfect. So that sounds pretty good. As far as like some of your liquor and wine are going. So talk to me a little bit about the remodeling. How'd that go? I know you said you did a lot of it, a little bit yourself.
I mean, it's a labor of love. My dad was a woodworker. I grew up woodworking with him, so we did a lot of this. As you see, we're very proud of it.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but we looked at it as making a statement. The parquet floors, the detailed millwork around the building. We're pretty proud of it, and so and those are the type of things that we're going to keep kind of adding and expanding and making sure. But those are expensive things too.
Right, and so I don't know. I guess kind of one of the things within your policy. Are you guys covered on some of these things? These are, like you're saying, big expensive additions, but you want to make sure that you're still covered on them because if you're say you're underinsured, and your floors are I'm looking at them, they're really nice. You want to make sure you have your proper coverage on that.
Right.
So I don't know. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I know we have improvements and betterments because we're responsible for the areas.
Right.
But again, I don't know, quite frankly, Scott, if we're have the right coverage and the right amount of coverage.
Okay.
Because we have expanded some of these things and we have enhanced some of the provisions throughout the building. So I know we have some coverage. I hope we don't ever have to use it, but if we do, I want to make sure it's the right coverage and the right values.
And yeah, I can completely agree with you. That's definitely one of the concerns. And with the changing and adapting business, you also want to make sure your insurance policy is changed. Awesome, perfect. That's great. So one of the other things you had mentioned was the gift shop underneath. The building doesn't have sprinklers in the system, but you guys have sprinklers.
Right.
Is there any concerns with that?
Well, the concern that I've had, and certainly, looked at from a time or two, my dad and I looked maybe buying those businesses and expanding and adding those to our portfolio. But the thing that really concerns me is, yes, we are sprinkled, and they are not.
Right.
And what if they have a loss?
Exactly.
We're on the second story.
Right, exactly. Imagine if they had a fire in their building,
Correct.
Your nice wood floors are.
And so I'm down for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is my wife and I's
Your
sole income. Okay. Got 20 employees.
Mm-hmm.
They rely on us being operational. So what happens if I'm down for several months? Because you can't just find these floors, at Home Depot.
Exactly.
So that concerns me. How would I have income?
Mm-hmm.
How would I pay for things, to get back up and running?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and that's definitely, one of the concerns we have as well. There's, certainly other factors as far as what place, because say they have a fire downstairs, that's nothing you can really control on yourself. But we can make sure that you're covered and insured through your insurance policy as well. Just kind of looking at a holistic perspective, providing the best coverage we can.
Right.
Perfect. I don't know, do you have any other concerns? A little bit, maybe some of your trainees, employees, do you have any vehicles?
No, we've talked about
Crime.
getting into the
Catering.
or stuff like that. But we're not quite there yet.
Okay.
Scott,
Just wanted to check.
But again, I appreciate you asking that because those are the things that I want as I look at as an agent.
Exactly.
I want to be having those conversations as we think about these things, and certainly the impact on my insurance.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
great. Glad that you recognize that. So I feel like we have a pretty good understanding of some of your concerns as far as changes and adaptations to your business as far as maybe adding more wine,